Good morning, Wednesday, right? Wednesday morning. It's hard sometimes to keep track of days these days.
I know it's Wednesday, May 13th. Wednesday, May 13th. And we started March 16th. Holy
Yeah.
cow. Just
Episode 43.
43. It's just amazing. We who knows how long this is going to last, but we also know that things are starting to move in this in real estate. And as that, I don't know if it's temporary or people are just saying, okay, well, I'm done. I think it's a lot everywhere. People are just saying, I'm done with this stuff.
So I see a lot of articles and posts on social media how people are like, look, we stayed home, we're done, we gotta get back to work, we gotta get our kids out, we gotta be able to do stuff. We gotta, back in the world of living and not just staying in our houses. So I think people are starting to get frustrated, being that it's getting nice out, being that they're not feeling sick. Anyone around them is not sick anymore if they were. And so they're like, let's get back to normal. And I think that's the American way, is just forgetting about, what just happened and going forward.
So it's funny. We were talking a few minutes ago about my friend and stuff, and him and his wife have the antibodies,
Right.
and she never showed anything, and she's in the highest percentile of antibodies, and he actually had it, and he's in a lower percentile. So it's just like, but I said, what does that mean? Does that mean like they put a tattoo on your head? It means you can go anywhere? He goes, no, it doesn't mean anything. Oh, okay.
Right. It's for your own knowledge, but people are coming out more and more as I drive around, because we have a lot of buyers right now, and I am showing houses, and along with my team, there are a lot of people out there. A lot of people just trying to get back to normal. There's a lot of people on the roads. There was traffic one day because there were people on the roads that I hadn't seen in months.
That I have not seen. I just know that. I work with and you do work with a lot of great people that have been working and have never stopped working.
Right.
And they're starting to soar. So what's going on with buyers out there, Mark? What are we seeing with buyers? Are they frustrated too and just want to get out and we need a house, let's go?
Right. So usually around here in the Northeast, the March, April, May time of year is where the buyers start coming out. Sellers put their houses on the market, and everything got put on hold. But now you have a lot of buyers who are anxious to get going and get up and running, and a lot of buyers who just want to find something. So whether they're in Manhattan coming to the suburbs here in New Jersey or Long Island, you have a lot of buyers like that. You have a lot of buyers who are now looking for, hey, I live in Manhattan full time, but I want to get a vacation home either in the country or by the beach. So you got buyers going that direction. You got buyers from New Jersey and New York who are living in the suburbs already, realizing, hey, if this ever happens again, I don't want to be stuck here in the cold. I'd rather be in Florida. So I know the Florida agents that I work with are busy with people from the Northeast looking to come down there. So buyers are out in droves right now for multiple different reasons. They're all cooped up. They're all ready to go. They've all planned it out. And it's really just determining what those buyers' needs and wants are now in order to find the right house for them.
Exactly. And it's a matter of, what's going on in the minds of sellers now as far as knowing this? Because I know there's people out there prospecting. I know there's agents out there looking for more homes. So what do you think is in the head of sellers as far as bringing buyers in and the pent-up demand? We not only have, Mark, pent-up demand, but we have new demand.
Right.
And you just said it. Manhattan to New Jersey, New Jersey to maybe Pennsylvania, right? So like everybody wants out of this area. Not everybody, but people want out of the area because they don't want to be stuck like this ever again.
Right. So we have buyers who just, realizing what their real needs are at this point, right? They're realizing what's really important to them in a house because they spend time in their current house or their current apartment. It used to be like buyers would come out, well, I would like to see all this. And they give us a laundry list of things they want to see in a house. Now people are realizing like they can't just kick the tires and go from open house to open house. The buyers are coming out, are real buyers looking for something specific, looking online at the pictures and videos and floor plans. And if they like the house, then they're coming out to see it. So sellers are seeing all these news articles about all the buyers looking to come from the city to the suburb, and looking at all these buyers who are coming in from other places. And they're like, great, I'm going to ask more money. But in reality is that the market is where it is. You can never, overlist your house. It never worked before. It's never going to work in the future. The house is worth what someone's willing to pay for it. What someone's willing to pay for it is based on comparable other sales and comparable other houses. So there's always going to be a range of where a house will trade for and sell for, but it's a matter of, pricing it right for the buyer to feel value. So the value is what they want to offer on, and then they make a deal. When you overlist the house, it kind of just sits.
But you don't. But aren't there like two schools of thought now with sellers? Is some people think their house is worth more, and some people are afraid it's going to be worth less. I mean, aren't there two schools of thought, or is it just like, with the extra demand, they're going to just raise their prices? Whoops. Yeah.
So I think that sellers realize that it's possible in the future that houses will be worth less and that the market might come down a little bit. But because right now there's not a lot of houses on the market, at least in the Northeast, I know this is an issue in Florida as well, because there's not a lot of houses on the market, sellers feel like, oh, let me ask a little more, and they keep pushing that price up to try to get a buyer to give them the most amount of money possible. But what happens is they end up sitting on the market, and then they might miss the market because they were just trying to get too much money and be a little too greedy. When you price your house right and you value it properly for the market, it sells quickly. And the best line is when you take a listing and you sell it in a week or 10 days, and you're like, oh, I should have listed it for more because it sold so quickly. Like, wasn't that the point? Right? Isn't the point to sell your house?
Right.
Right. We're not in the business of just listing houses to get people to come in and take a look. We're in the business of selling houses. So if we can sell your house in 7 to 10 days, isn't that our the goal that we can accomplish for you quickly? Like, that's my question to them. But no, they want more money then.
Yeah, no, there's it's like you show your expertise to get the seller to sign that seller up in the listing, and then when you show your expertise, you actually act on your expertise. Because I guess there's a lot of people that don't act on that expertise, and that will. I mean, okay, so there's a lot of people, a lot of agents out there that really aren't the expert salesperson. They aren't that expert realtor or whatever, and they're going to do what their seller asks them to do, even though if it's against their. So what I mean is they're taking listings that they shouldn't be taken at higher prices. Are we seeing any of that now, where there's a lot of high prices out there that houses are just going to sit?
Yeah, I mean, those houses were sitting before all this started. They're going to continue sitting now. If the sellers don't want to be truly realistic of the value of their home in the current market, they're going to sit. And that's what happens a lot of times. Sellers list their house for too much money, and then they get insulted when someone makes an offer that's too low for them. Well, if you're listed too high, a buyer's going to compensate and offer too low, and you're going to meet in the middle where it should have been listed to begin with. So Why not list it properly, create that value for multiple buyers, and maybe you will get a couple dollars more, but at least it'll sell quickly so you can then make your next move to the next house.
Okay, so you just mentioned something about a high price and a low offer. What about low ball offers? Are low ball offers out there? Are they happening? Are they going to continue to happen? What about low ball offers in this market?
So I think that buyers feel that because of what's going on in the economy, the market should tank already and they should get a better deal, right? But that's not happened yet because there's low inventory and a high demand. Low-ball offers aren't being accepted, right? Low-ball offers aren't even being countered offers sometimes because they're so low. We just had a buyer who, we listed a house probably a little bit on the higher side of fair, but it was still fair for the market value based on what it was. And they came in $130,000 below asking price. Well, that's a big difference. Like, the sellers didn't want to respond and the buyers were upset. Like, what do you mean you don't want to respond? He's like, we just put on the market. We have showings every day. Even in this environment, we're not accepting $130,000 less, and they wouldn't even counter. So finally, the buyers then came up with a realistic offer, and now we're in a counter offer situation. But buyers and sellers need to be realistic. If the seller's realistic in the price that he's listing it at, the buyers need to realize that that's a real price for the market we're in and make an offer appropriate for that. If they're just out there looking for a deal, like a lot of buyers are, and they're going to just lowball everybody, then you need to have a lot of patience as a realtor to work with them, because they're just going to continue doing the same thing over and over again, is, waiting for that one person to feel desperate to accept a low offer.
So as we move forward, and as we moved into the pandemic and hopefully figuring out a way to move out of it, the isolation, the quarantine, all that stuff, there are some regulation changes. Well, not regulation changes, some requirement changes of mortgages where, you know, you needed to have better credit, you need to have this, you need to have that. What about the quality of the buyer? Is the quality of the buyer improved because of the change in the of the DTI, not DTIs, of the scores and stuff?
I think the quality of the buyer has maybe improved a little bit, but most banks are still giving out mortgages. Just the best rates are going to those that have the best income and credit.
That makes a lot of sense.
But I think that overall, you know, most banks are lending. Yes, some of the banks have required a higher credit score for that premium product. But if you need to get a mortgage out there and you have a job, you can get a mortgage, right? That's what they want. They want to know that you have a job in this environment. They want to know that you have steady income, that you can pay your mortgage. Your credit score will help determine the pricing of your mortgage, but that's really what it comes into. Buyers are out there. They can get mortgages as long as they have jobs. And there are a lot of buyers in the market who don't have jobs right now, who have been furloughed, who are laid off, who are waiting to go back to work so that they can buy something. So these are all, you know, things that are, you know, affecting our environment of buyers and sellers, which is why, you know, there's buyers out there that are ready to buy right now because they have jobs. So let them buy right now, and then there'll be a whole slew of new houses in a few months from now for the next round of buyers who go back to work.
Right. So I had a conversation yesterday with two loan experts talking about different types of things. And one of the things that's not available today, and it's going to be a while for it, is, I imagine, are renovation loans. 203Ks, not happening, right? Also, I mean, there's people out there that are not working. How do they get a loan now? Well, they almost can't. However, there are banks, there are mortgage companies, there are mortgage brokers that will get loans for people that are 1099 employees that may not be working now. Right. This is something everybody should know, that may not be working, may not be getting a check, but they can prove what their business was over the past couple of years, and they will be back.
Right.
So those are some really important points as far as people getting different types of loans and different types of criteria. Right. Are you seeing a lot of buyers that you've worked with in the past, that your team has worked with in the past, that have been furloughed and that aren't receiving a paycheck now? And what's going through their head? Do you know?
So there are definitely a lot of buyers out there that are not getting a paycheck right now, or furloughed, or are just waiting for things to come back. They are just being patient, right? They have a place to live. They have a roof over their head. It may not be exactly where they want to be, or they were making other plans before all this happened. But now that this happened, again, we all have to adjust our life. We all have to adjust our plans. And instead of buying the house this summer that they want, they're going to have to wait a year and see what happens, and be able to buy it hopefully next summer. So there's a lot of let's wait and see what happens for a lot of those buyers. And they're not rushing into anything anymore because they're unsure of where things are going to be, right? So they're not going to leave their apartment right now unless they absolutely need to. They're not going to leave the house that they're in and sell it to find something else right now because they can't get the right mortgage. So they're just putting a lot of things on hold, which I think will help realtors because there'll then be a steady flow of buyers throughout the fall and winter, I think, if we can get back to work. And that people will just continually, you know, buy and sell. It just won't be that big uptick that we usually see in April, May, June, July. We'll kind of see it steady throughout the year. So
what do you see with the with real estate agents out there? I know your team is extremely solid, and you probably won't see this in your teams, but there's going to be maybe a little bit of change in real estate agents, or numbers of them, or ones that have business and ones that don't. Are you going to see that? Are we going to see that quickly in the business that we're used to and not used to?
So, I mean, we all know that, you know, all the real estate gets done by about 20% of the agents in any given marketplace. True. Right? So the 80% that doesn't really contribute more than a deal or two to the marketplace, we might see them trickle out a little bit. You know, they have to continue to pay fees. They have to continue to pay their MLS dues. They have to pay their board dues. I think that if they realize they're not doing business and they're not able to do business now, they may not continue to pay all that fees if they have to start cutting somewhere. So it's interesting to see what will happen over the next, 3, 6, 9 months as all these fees become due at different MLSs and different boards. And, we might see 20% of that 80% just not renew and just put on hold because they don't have extra money right now to keep their license active.
Yeah, no, I know several agents I've spoken to that are just hoping something else comes along because, like there's the different types of agents. There's the agents that are working really hard to build their business. You see teams. I mean, we know of a lot of teams that are basically going to do the same or a little bit more than they did last year. And that's a lot of growth for 50% of the homes on the market that were last year, right? You have the agents that aren't doing anything, and ones that are going to say, well, you know what, I'll just continue when it starts up again. I don't know about that. I mean, we have colleagues in the business that think that is possible.
Right.
I don't know how possible that is, though, if you haven't done, unless you've got a huge network. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I think any agents that are looking to really stay in this business. I mean, one of the things we don't do is promote stuff, but I'm going to tell you that if you're interested in staying in this business and moving forward, you're looking at two guys right now who can help you get rolling and keep you going for nothing, right? Just you want information, you want help. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. I mean,
we enjoy watching people succeed, right?
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that, but you and I both are like that. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you get the deal done. We want to see you make money. We want to see you get financial freedom. We want to see your success, and we want to help you do that.
Right. Exactly. And that's exactly my point. I mean, we started this to help real estate agents stay in tune with what was going on. And it would be a mistake for us not to say, hey, look, we're really ready, willing, and able to help you. I mean, my list of people I work with has increased tremendously over the past 5 weeks. And it's not stopping. I mean, every day there's someone new that wants to work with me. So it's like, come on out and make a phone call or look at the things that we're doing, with this. And Mark, you've got a great team you're working with for years, and you've got a great bunch of knowledge. Mark's a great coach. I mean, you should be calling up Mark for help.
Listen, I'm happy to help agents around the country. I have a handful of coaching clients now in different states who are getting back to business the last few weeks, and now we're starting to refocus, time block, as I always push, and find ways to get things done. So if you need help, Dave and I are here. We're here every morning, 8:45 a.m. So listen in. If you need anything, reach out to us anytime. Mark the Misfit on Instagram, Dave Fanale. We're always here to respond to stuff. And any questions you have, let us know, and we can answer them tomorrow morning on air.
Absolutely. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll be back here bright and early at 8:45 a.m. before your day gets started or after your day gets started, but we'll be here.
We'll be here. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care, everybody.